Good morning. Oh, hopefully this time it won't be corrupted in the recording process. Oh, last podcast I accidentally turned off my phone without saving the recording, and it corrupted the first fourth of the podcast. But I thought it was actually going to work because the file was still appearing as uh, a file on my phone, but I couldn't listen, or I didn't listen to it. And then I transferred it to my laptop to work on, and then it wasn't registering on the editing software. And then I tried listening to it and realized it was not saved properly, and so it was a corrupted file and couldn't be used. But, so that was unfortunate, but yes, I'm sure nobody cares much that they had 12 less minutes of me blabbering on. Which today I have luncheon at work, so I may or may not have a longer or a longer one today, or I might have a very short one today because I may not leave. Oh, well, if it's a shorter one, it'll be fine. Ooh, 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 ooh. Um, I was thinking of trying to find, more topics to talk about, and I actually kind of thought of the just something I thought this weekend was just like, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like a lot of people, if not most people I know, are somewhat fascinated by fire. Like, I don't know if anybody else does this, but when I am at like a campfire or something like that, I'll just sit there and kind of stare into the fire for a few minutes because it's kind of relaxing and just very, I don't know, very interesting. And fire is just so cool to look at. It's kind of mesmerizing. It's fun to stare into. And fire's fun to build too, you know. It's kind of hard sometimes though, especially like this past weekend. It had been raining all week, and my father-in-law had some branches torn down by a bad windstorm, uh, and oh, he had just kind of gathered them up and left them out in the field. And hadn't had time to cut them up or anything yet. And so when it was raining all week, they got kind of soaked. And so it was kind of wet wood, which made it hard to light at first. But, you know, me and my father in law and his brother were all kind of building it up a bit and then eventually got it uh, going good enough where Didn't have to keep adding smaller sticks and leaves. But fire's kind of interesting because like a it's a weird mix of I mean it's just a chemical reaction, but wait, it's like releasing well, it's breaking down the wood and releasing a lot of the things in the wood as gas, and that gas is then burning and turning into more simple elements, and dividing the oxygen. And I don't know. There's something very cool about it, but it's like a lot of stuff going on there. And the fire itself is weird because it's like a plasma that is created by the heat of the chemical reaction, but serves as the heat to continue that reaction. And it's like the gases released are being superheated. Like there's a lot of cool little chemical reactions just going on every day that you don't even think about. I think that's one of them where you kind of understand that fire needs, fuel and oxygen, uh, heat, and it'll provide its own heat after it gets going. I've actually seen somebody, I don't know if it was serious or not, but online argue that fire is somewhat akin to a form of life because it consumes and pretty much consumes things in order to create more of itself. Like it kind of very loosely fits the definition of life, and it responds to stimulus in a way, I guess. But it's kind of an interesting thought that you might be able to consider fire a primitive form of life. But if you think about the very basics of it, the basics of life is just like chemicals kind of happening to collide and do things with those reactions. But more complex life is just all about creating those chemicals and getting them from the outside world and combining them in the right places at the right times to do things. But it's really just, you know, the simplicity behind everything that creates life is really incredible. Like, because like God set it up so that it's just like the most basic little reactions when built upon each other create the most complicated thing in the world that we can't even understand yet still. Like there's so many parts of biology that are still like a mystery to us. The human brain, the way it works exactly, Like we're understanding more and more, but it's still just so much we don't understand. But it's all just very simple chemical reactions when you break it down that are just like, yep, that's what happens when these two chemicals collide, and then your body just uses that for its own kind of signal and uses the product of that reaction to trigger something else, and then has this whole cascading effect that leads to everything that you do. Oh, I definitely think that too many people are kind of pushed away from the sciences because of the emphasis on these weird kind of metrics and subjects that may or may not be entirely necessary. And I know chemistry, stoichiometry is like the big killer, and everyone I knew had a hard time with it, and it caused multiple people, including me, to almost fail or fail uh, chemistry and just completely be pushed out from ever trying chemistry again because it just was so overwhelming. But really, that's not an important thing to learn in high school, I feel like. Because if you understand the basics of chemical reactions, you're going to have a broader understanding of the world. But being able to calculate the exact amount of molecules used may be important for doing the science, but I don't think it's terribly important for understanding it. And they devoted like half the year to it. But that's all the time we got for now, so I'll continue this later. Oh, well, well, I didn't manage getting a quick trip home in because it took 2 hours for us to eat lunch. So this is going to be a very short podcast today compared to my usual. You know, I didn't even think that these podcasts are probably pretty consistent in terms of length, just because of the oh, hey, a stork. Just because of the nature of recording while I drive, and the drive being a pretty consistent 12 and a half minutes. Sometimes I get on a rant or a tangent about something that goes on even after I park, though, so maybe it's a little less consistent than I'm thinking it is, but you know, it's probably just fine. Oh, if I ever do uh, get a number of people following on here to where anything happens with as far as monetization or something, I guess I have natural breaks in the right in the kind of going on to place ads in if I wanted to. Oh, but I don't know. When I listen to like podcasts and stuff, I really prefer for the ads to be like at the beginning so that you just kind of get it out of the way, then get to listen to all the thoughts in a straight and complete order. I really don't like when people just kind of splice an ad into the middle of kind of discussion, and it's like they weren't it wasn't like a natural pause or anything, like somebody's just in the middle of saying something, or just finishes the sentence, but then before anybody else can follow up, there's an ad, and then somebody after like a 30 seconds of ads, it's like somebody starts talking again, and you're just like, wait, where were we in this conversation? One podcast that I listen to is pretty bad about doing that. They like to, well, I don't know if they like to. I think they just don't really understand that they're interrupting the middle of a thought when they do it because they try and do it at the end of sentences. But I guess that podcast also is the Duck Call Room or the Unashamed with the Robertson family. Like they're both from that same kind of Duck Dynasty crew, and they I think just don't quite understand it more than anything because yeah. But oh yeah, I'm always kind of like thinking, it'd be nice if I was able to gain a bit of a following and have enough people listen that I could make money off of it. But at the same time, it feels like that might not be a good thing, just because it might kind of just result in me overthinking it and trying to put it too hard or maybe over monetizing it and it no longer is enjoyable to listen to. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of pitfalls and traps you can get into when you start trying to monetize anything on the internet. It turns into like a kind of, instead of just something you do for fun, it turns into a job or turns into something where you just try to milk every penny out of it you can, which makes everybody who was listening upset. So I don't know. It's hard to find that middle ground, which I don't have to worry about it for now because I've had like 100 people listen to this podcast. So yeah, not really anything to worry about there. Probably for a long while. Maybe if I start making those videos I've been talking about, it'll go faster, be easier, but oh, I need to make those videos because I really do want to try it and learn how to do it. It's just, it takes time, and that's something I don't have very much of right now. I work between the time it takes me to travel to and from work, and all I work takes up about 9 hours of my day. Eating takes up about 1.5 to two. Like if I combine just meals, getting ready for the morning and getting ready for bed, that's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Yeah, because I get up at 7ish and then kind of just have to spend time getting ready for the day and all, and get to work by 8:30. So that's an hour and a half, and then I have an hour for lunch. That's 2.5 hours, and then probably 30 minutes for supper, 30 minutes around getting ready for bed. So 3.5 hours plus the 8 hours work. So that's 11.5 hours. Round up to 12 just because of all the little things here and there that add up throughout the day. And then spend 8 hours sleeping. Well, I spend 7 hours sleeping, 1 hour getting my daughter to go to sleep. Oh, I guess I don't have to be in there because my wife puts her down, but I like being in there with both of them and just laying back and relaxing while Violet or while my daughter just rolls over, tossing and turning. But oh, that so yeah, that leaves like maybe 4 hours in the evening that I'm not busy. And so that's 4 hours to do any of my hobbies that I want to do, plus spend time with my wife and also spend time with my daughter. I end up watching her for probably half of it and then kind of combo hobbies and spending time with my wife for the other two while she's watching her. So yeah, it's hard being an adult and having so many things to do. You know, if I prefer to work 4 hours a day and have 8 hours a day to do everything else, 'cause then I could get a lot done, but then I wouldn't have much income. It would be nice if I did generate some income from something like this that I can kind of do as a hobby and, or do with my hobbies and kind of combo those two together to where I can, you know, cut back on hours maybe and maybe find another kind of option for work that's not full time, give me a little more time to do my own thing. That's what I would prefer. Is have being able to find the time to kind of split it up a little more than oh maybe if you know what would be fun like as a next step would be to start doing this whole like YouTube thing and maybe get some people following me on there enough that I could start making a little bit of money. And if I start making a little bit on there, then get like a part-time IT job. I feel like that would be fun. If I need something to like supplement my income, but at the same time not do uh, like a whole lot extra. But I don't know. I have to just kind of see where it went. But I get the impression just from anyone I see talking about doing YouTube or streaming that what it is it takes a ton of time. And I don't know if I really have the spare time to devote to it. Like, I have maybe 8 hours a week total that I could devote to it, and that's only if I really wanted to. That's not just, oh, time that I already have free. That's time I'd have to make. But I don't know. I guess we'll just see where it goes. No, it's a short one, but that is all for today. So y'all have a good day and see you tomorrow.